Okay, so today I'm really excited to talk to you all, and we have a very special guest because the way we connected, I believe that this does not happen every day. And her name is Ginger. She is a, well, I would like to say digital creator because she makes many, like, several stuff. She works with photography. She works with filmmaking. She creates content for the page of Gary, Gary V himself, but the joint Gary V, the one that my video was posted on before I went on to Gary.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's basically it. I'm not gonna take much more into the introduction. I'm gonna let her like discuss the journey with you all, her journey, where she came from, everything about that. And I think it's gonna be a really interesting one. So like, Ginger, you have the you have the mic.
Thanks for thanks for having me. First of all, it's so awesome to connect with you because you and I share that experience of being, in the hot seat with Gary.
Yeah,
It's intimidating, but he's amazing, and he brought you and I together. So it's all about collaboration, and I love it. I can't get enough of this community. So, but
okay.
yes, I'm Ginger. I have been interested in creating pretty much all my life, like most of us. But I would say, in short, the shortest version I can give you, my journey to really exploring that started after I had my third child. I've been creating for, like I said, a long time, but something happened when I had my third child, Gigi. I just started taking pictures of her more and more every day. I connected with a really great group of moms that like to dress up our children, just very simple, just loves of, you know, just very basic having fun with our kids. And it grew into a passion of mine where I learned that I loved styling, I loved photography, and eventually that led to me getting a camera, learning how to use that, and just starting to create emotion through my photography. It really wasn't, as time went on, it became less and less about taking pictures of my daughter, and it became more and more of my art form. And how can I take this? How can I push this? Obviously, respecting her, because I'm not going to take advantage of my child
Yeah.
because it looks bad. I mean, it can look bad. You know, so I was very aware of that, and I wanted to make sure that this was something that we were mutually, excited to do together. So we did that for a very, very long time, and as time passed, I ended up getting involved with Babykins Magazine, which is an amazing magazine that highlights, kids' fashion and stories about childhood. And so I started blogging for them, and everything was kind of like you just made it work. There wasn't a whole lot of
Yeah, it's like figuring it out through the through the journey.
exactly, like I had a very skeletal, you know teaching system, just kind of like, okay, this is what you do, this is how you upload it, and that was it. And then I kind of just learned on my own how to put things together. And but I really, it was a challenge because I put so much of myself, my art, my emotions, everything that I was feeling on a daily basis. Even where I live, I live in Buffalo, New York, and I know you're in Egypt, by the way, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. But in Buffalo, it's very cold here, especially in the winter. Throughout even sometimes spring,
Trust
we can
me, it's
have,
it's way better. It's way better than summer here. It's way better than summer. Like,
yeah. Is it?
cold over. Yeah, yeah. It's very hot in here. So like,
So
I
we have
cool.
the same extremes. Maybe you're dealing with the hot, I'm dealing with the cold. And
Yep.
it can be depressing. It can be like, okay, is this over yet? Can we move on? Um, It's hard, especially when you're trying to push your creative outlet and you can't go outside. So you get really creative with, your
Oh,
house and
so like that extreme.
yes. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
can be, but it's a great place. I'm not knocking it, but it challenged my creativity. And I just, eventually over time, it taught me how to connect with people as well. So it wasn't just about the photography, it was about reaching out to other moms, reaching out to other brands. We
Hmm.
worked with a lot of fashion brands that wanted to see Gigi in their clothes. A lot of kids do this. This is like the age of the influencer.
Yeah, yep, yeah, I think I've came across that, the whole kids modeling and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Seen that
mean,
before.
it's if you show an interest in something and you love it, then eventually you can work with other brands and you can collaborate with them, and it's a win-win because it's something I love, it's something they need, and I enjoyed it so much. It was a really great season in my life, and I connected with my daughter in a way that um, we had time together. We had time to spend. You know, it wasn't just, again, it wasn't just about photography. It was about showing who she is as a little girl and showing the beauty of a little girl's childhood through my lens. It became less and less about, I wanted it to not be just a fashion shoot. I wanted it to be something that people could get.
Meaningful.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
wanted to create a story. I wanted to put my caption with it, and just tell people, hey, this is more than just my daughter or my photography. This is my mood, this is my vibe, this is
I
everything that
think I think I've never been like an artist person myself. I pick up hobbies, like I can like take some photos and stuff like that, but I'm not really like, I wouldn't say I'm an artist in like deep down.
Mhm.
However, I really think that I think many people will really have this one resonate, which is like photography or like filmmaking or even like painting and drawing. It's not just that you pick up and then you have a hobby or like you have a skill to do it, or you can just go at different angles and you do it correctly. I think many people who take it on as a career, they love it not because of the photo itself, but because of what it represents and what it shows, the behind of it. You know what I'm saying? I think,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's funny that you said that because I never chose this as a career, which is crazy because I mean I have a career already that I've been doing for at my current job for 13 years, but I work from home, which allows me the flexibility to pursue my passion, which is photography and creating and making. And I try to apply all of that in my my current full-time job, but and I love what I do because I talk to people all day long and I love connecting.
What do you do? Like for that job? The
So I do pharmaceutical sales. I kind of just fell into it. It wasn't like I went to school to be that. Nothing like that. I was looking for a job. They were hiring. I got into it, and then I kind of just stayed in the industry all these years. It just happens. You just
yeah.
kind of you just you just run with it,
Yeah.
and I ran with it,
You know.
and it was great because there wasn't a lot of jobs that were remote, and I was raising a family, and it's not easy to raise a family when both people work, and you have to rely on other people. So this was a blessing, and I didn't want to let it go, so I had to make it work. I had to learn it, do it well, and then I wanted to make time for my passion and my love, which is creating and expressing myself.
Creating.
So that's what I did. And then, long story short, after doing all of that, I realized how much fun it was. Um, and I started investing in a lot of brands that I wanted to work with. So I'd invest in like Bel Air Athletics. I would buy their stuff because I love Will Smith. Just because
Oh,
he's a great person, he's a great human being. He's always spreading positivity and inspiration. And so
he's
rather
more than
than,
just an actor. He's more than
yeah,
just an. He's
he's
he's a very creative actor. But besides the point, I really believe, like, it happened like, I think there was like 6 months ago, and it was like a couple of weeks after each other when he like went on and made a video about something he was thinking about, and he just shares so much wisdom. I really like when I think about someone, I don't really like them for because I believe that there will always be better actors. I believe that there will always be better soccer players. I believe that there will always be better photographers. Like, is there always gonna be there will be better entrepreneurs than Gary, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I really believe that when I really feel attached to someone, as in I believe that he's like a mentor to me.
Mhm.
I think I'm a
Yeah.
terrible host because I just took over what you were saying. What I think about it is what this person provides out of their label as an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
You know what like when he drops wisdom and when he does charity and when he does all of that, he's not being actually sometimes when you think about it, he might be taking wrong decisions when it comes to his entrepreneurial side. But like I like the human in the person more
Yeah.
the profession. You know, I think
Absolutely.
and I
Yeah.
think when you were talking about creativity and it just more than just acting and stuff like that, I think that also like extends to not just photography and painting, but also musicians and actors and I think the whole creative spectrum can really resonate with this one. It's you know
Absolutely.
I'd like to touch on that one with you right now, which is why do you think or why do you think that is that maybe when like the older generation, the not generation Z, maybe not even X and Y, you can say the like 1970s, 1960s, why do you think they don't really I don't want to generalize it, but you can say that many of the generation uh, does not really inspire
Hmm.
creativity more than they inspire formal education and doctor, lawyer, engineer, all that categories. Like, have you faced that? For example, you were deciding which career to choose. Did your, for example, parents like were like, nah, like photography is not funny. Take that one. Like, what's your take on that part?
I guess I was lucky because I came from a very creative family. My dad's side of his family were all amazing, brilliant. I mean, so intelligent people that created, invented. I have a lot of inventors in my family. My uncle invented the IBM correctable tape, which seems like the tiniest little piece of, you know, what is that? But it was useful, and people used it every
Yeah,
day when IBM came out. So that's really cool. My dad's a writer. He wrote a lot of books. I don't know if anyone was the one was called The Best of Success, where he would gather all these quotes from all of these, famous people and put them in a book back before the
I
internet.
think I'm gonna give this one a read. I think I'm gonna give that one a read. What's the name again? So if like anyone wants to
It's called The Best of Success by Win
The
Davis.
Best of Success by
Mm-hmm.
Win Davis.
Win
Okay, so
Davis,
any oh,
Wynn. That's my dad,
okay.
and he's just all over the place as far as
Ah,
creativity, always thinking, drawing from different things. So I was never pushed necessarily, probably in the way that some kids need to be pushed, which is why I'm so relaxed. And, there's a lot that I can learn from people that are very structured as far as, this is what you need to do. I did go to college. He did, he was pretty, Ginger, if you should go to college and I'll help you pay for it. And I was, okay, fine. But, um,
yeah, it was smooth. It wasn't all like there was no you could say like
no
I
pressure.
wouldn't want to say arguments, but like yeah
There was no like you have to be a doctor or else. My mom,
yeah
she's been a stay-at-home mom forever. I mean, my mom hasn't worked, so it's nice because she is able to help me with my kids as well. But again, just to give you a background of where I came from, I didn't come from this very strong structured family. So for me, stepping out of that comfort zone and really becoming a person that is driven and ambitious and in a way that is um, I don't know how to explain it, but it puts me out of my comfort zone, but it also drives me. It gives me that adrenaline. It's like it pushes me to go far because I know what I feel like there's so much I know I'm capable of, and I'm not giving it my all because of, various reasons, because all the excuses we tell ourselves, right? Like, oh, well, I have a family, or, oh, I'm, getting
That's
older.
very interesting. That's very interesting. Well, what do you think? What would you say to someone like right now? I think you're a very creative person. You're creating content a lot. Like I don't know how much, but a lot. And so, what would you say to someone? Because I was just talking to this about, like, I posted about it, I was talking to someone about it, which is, why do you think deep down we like give excuses or provide excuses for not starting? I personally believe it's because we have some insecurities that we really haven't gone through or came over. So what's your take on this? What do you think about that?
I think people are of, there's no filter like Instagram, you know, early on, I when I started Instagram, when I started doing the photography, it isolated a lot of people that I knew because they weren't approving of it. They thought it was, I'm not going to speak for them and say what they thought it was, but I have my own suspicion of what they thought because they never supported it. They didn't, they wanted to just kind of stick with Facebook, and they didn't want any part of what I was doing with my child. And that's fine. People will
Yeah,
judge. People will say, "Oh, you're wasting your time," or, "Why do you do that?" And you know what? It's judgment. This is why people don't start, because they especially if you have a public Instagram page, anyone can find you, anyone, your family member, your employer, whoever it is. And so for me, I had to be really cognizant of that, and just realize everything that I put out is going to be 100% my heart. And if I'm ever questioned, I'll have a reason. I'm confident that I can back up anything that I've put out on the internet and have no regrets and no doubts of anything that I've said. And so I think that's the important thing, is first recognizing that you're seen, even if you don't think that you're seen, and anyone can contact you, anyone can find you, and that's both a blessing and a curse, right? It's like
yeah.
the idea that anyone can find you, but who knows who will be watching this video. But that excites me. That excites me because that means
Exactly. I was just coming at this point. I was
oppor-
just exactly coming. I think this is one of my favorite parts of the talk and for talks. I think this topic is very interesting. Is that many people, like, I think they try to they have a delusion that they are not known or they don't want to be known. But the thing is, like, you can't live all your life with some insecurity hiding under a rock. It's just not gonna happen. And I was actually talking about this, which is some way or another you have a brand. So I was talking about it from the marketing kind of aspect, which is some way or another you have a brand. Like, you don't get to choose that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and brand not necessarily in the meaning of, oh, so Ginger, your brand is, she's a digital creator, she does photography, she makes films. Like, I think it's deeper than that. Jeff Bezos said it best when he said, brand is what people think of you when you're not in the room.
Your reputation.
Yep, exactly. And many people are gonna take that in the wrong way, which is like reputation. So I just gotta fake being happy or fake that I'm excelling at this. But I think that if you want to build a strong core, because at the end of the day, you're doing it to feel good, right? Like, you're not doing it to please whoever. So I think that's really important one, which is whatever you're doing, that the purpose of it should be that you're either doing it for a bigger purpose or you're doing it because you want to feel good about yourself somewhere or another.
Well, listen, I mean, I'll give you some raw right now. Um, I'm I'm probably doing this at like the worst time in my life because I'm gonna get emotional. I promise
No
I
problem,
wasn't
no
gonna
problem.
do this. But like I was doing really good with myself last year, keeping up on working out, and I was like in the best shape of my life last year. And I have just, life happens, and um, it's like I've, and I'm trying not to be so hard on myself, but it's hard. It's hard, and so I want to be real and raw with you because we don't see this a lot. And I have no problems with being my authentic self. So I think it's important for people to realize that don't be so hard on yourself. I'm pushing myself to do these lives and to talk to people at at a place where I don't feel 100%. I don't feel my best. Um, but I know it's going to mean more for me to push myself and to talk to you and to share with people that it doesn't matter if you're at your worst or your best. The point is that you're putting yourself out there, you're sharing your story, and you find people that you can resonate with so you can work on things together and grow together. And if anybody's watching this that's dealing with a struggle, whether it's your weight or the way you look, or some flaw that you have, that a disability, or if it's pain, or just whatever it is, we all are just needing
Humans.
that. We just don't be so hard on yourself. Put yourself out there. It's okay. It's okay. And I'm this is why I'm here. This is why I'm on the internet. It's less, again, about photography. It's about, and I do have to say this, my 6-year-old daughter, she is the one. She is the reason why I'm where I am right now. Because she told me one day, Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be your model anymore. I'm done. And you know what that did to me? Like, as a creator, living with someone that I worked with, but also was my daughter, I had to respect the fact that she didn't want to be, she's like, Mom, it's time for you to move on. And that crushed me because it forced me to, you know branch out and discover what type of photographer I am, what type of creator I am, what do I want to put out into the world. At some point you evolve in your life and you realize maybe it's time for me to start something else. And so she's the reason why I found Gary. She's the reason why I started creating other content, because it forced me out of my comfort. It forced me out of doing what I had been doing, what I was, thriving at, what I was loving. And all of a sudden, my whole world stopped. And she lets me take her picture occasionally now, but it's because of her that I branched out and that I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do video. I'll do video with you, we'll just create, we'll do something fun. And who knows, maybe when she's older, we'll create something amazing together, but like life happens and it happens for a reason. And when you start to see those things and you start to connect the dots and you start to realize that the bad things that happen in your life are really not so bad, and in the long run, that you have to see the opportunity in there and you have to work with what you have and you have to put yourself out there. And that's it. That's my advice. And so I'm still growing. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm still growing in my content. I'm still trying to figure out who I am, like what I want to put out. I'm putting out random stuff, like Gary said. I mean, I want to put out something that makes me feel good, because I know if it makes me feel good, maybe it'll make someone else feel good. Like, I just posted a video of um, when we went to a bar and we were watching the Buffalo Bills, which is our local football team here. Um, and I put that video out because it made me feel good, or it made me remember a time where we were all together, our community. We were hugging, high-fiving, and just having a great time. And that vibe is everything. And I put it out and I got such a huge response. I was almost kind of shocked because um, people need that. People need to see people connecting, and people need to um, like that's what I'm drawn to. So like when I think about that when I put out content, I don't just put out something um, that I'm proud of, although sometimes I do. You know, I'm human, but I want people to think about it. I want it to draw more questions. I want you to look at it and be like, why did she do this? Or what does this mean? Or why is this special to her? And I think when you pay more attention to
Engagement.
content, yeah, but it's not for like the metrics or anything like that. It's because I want to connect with people. It's like I want to see what works because I want to do more of that, because I want to bring more people in, and I want to just just grow together and
Yeah.
see where it takes us. And that's it. So that's why I do it. But
Many-
I'm
Oh,
having a
sorry.
blast, and there's no pressure, and no one should have pressure. No one should feel like, oh, I have to, keep up this vibe, or I have to keep up um, my cool, reputation. I see accounts that's all they do is just post, just like the coolest things ever, and it's like, who are you even human? Like, like that's really cool, but like,
You know, I was gonna just say
I want
that. I
to
was
know
just
like
waiting.
about you. Like, I want to know what's inside your brain. Like I want to dissect everything, and um, people. I feel like people aren't drawing deep enough, and that's okay. That's okay, because you know, people can do what they want. You go as deep as you want, depending on how far you want to grow. So it's really up to us. And it's pushing me out of my comfort zone. And that's what I want people to know, that wherever you want to go in life, you got to go deeper. You got to put yourself out there. You can't be afraid to cry in front of everyone. Like, it is what it is. It's, I was born that way. I was born very,
You
very
know,
insecure.
thinking about it. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I just
Oh, you're fine.
couldn't like stop this thought. When you were talking, I had just three things like come through my mind, and the first thing was, I think you reminded me of that book that I read. I don't remember its name, unfortunately, but you reminded me of that book that I read like 6 months ago. And the book was about that vulnerability
Mm.
is the like most powerful strength, and the people who appear to have no vulnerabilities, they are the one who are filled with insecurities. Like, I think I want to say that again. So people who are being vulnerable, I think these are the most powerful people, and the people who appear with no vulnerability, I think these people, they are the people with most insecurities. I think so. Like when you, for example, now you cried on camera. I
Hmm.
for that, I believe that you are not weak or like sensitive. I think that you are so powerful that you are not afraid to show your emotions on camera, right?
Thank you.
So that was the top. Yeah, that one really captured my mind. And another thing was that you were talking about, which is like imperfection. I mean, perfection. I'm sorry. Perfection is just a disguise for insecurity. Like it is what it is. Like I honestly believe when I go into someone's Instagram or whatever, I don't mean to be judgmental, but I just think of it that way. That if I see everything you post is perfect and clean and neat, like which is what, for example, right now there are like some background noises on your side, but that's completely fine because that's gonna like the podcast is not gonna have the best quality, but it's gonna be real.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just really think like people should like if that's like I wish this is the takeaway. Like if you're gonna focus on one thing, just one thing, it should be about being real, staying true to who you are, instead of faking who you are just to be perfect and get all that likes and all like I believe that every single girl out there, if she was to like model with a bikini, she will get hundreds and thousands of like absolute in seconds,
Yep.
like in seconds. But I believe that the ones that actually don't care about that and they put out, I took that one from Gary. When you put out when if like you're an influencer or like content creator, when you put out what you want, don't put it out for likes. Put it because it represents you.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
just really and documenting the like see I'm a marketing consultant, so and I work with several people, one based in LA, one a couple of people working here in different spectrums, and they all walk different like paths in life, but I always have just this one, like they all have different, like I create content structure for everyone, but I always have this one in every single structure with is which is documenting,
Hmm.
because when you show the people the process, when you show the people the terrible side, the imperfect side, they will love you more. Even though they are insecure in themselves and they just like, ah, nah, the girl with the bikini is definitely better than crying on camera.
Yeah.
But like, this crying on camera touches a side and person, whoever is watching. Like, I don't care. Like, I just it goes more in. I think of it like levels. When you're going deep, you just show like the kind of, I don't want to say the physical level, but the level that everyone walking the street knows about you, like how you look, for example, like stuff like that. But there's always deeper levels, and the more you go deep, the more you'll be vulnerable, showing that deep things that you want to hide, the more you will be real and the more hence you're going to be strong and people and you will attract people who are real. So I absolutely just like I think I'm amazed, like amazed. Like I if you watch anything, I interrupted Gary when he was talking, like in this like Gary, you know what I'm saying, like he's the most important, like he's easily top three role models, and I interrupted him, but you went when you were talking, which is not easy. I hold myself very hard, which is not easy. I like usually interrupt people. I was listening and I just was like appreciative of that realness, you know. So
Yeah.
thing that I wanted to touch connected to that, which is now I myself have no experience with that, which is why I'm asking, and I absolutely have nothing to contribute to that part, which is what would you say to mom, especially one that had like three kids and maybe not living the best condition, like family wise. What would you say to a woman like that on how, like, for example, she wants to be? I'm gonna give you an example, like on the top of my head. She wants to be creative. She wants, for example, to be an artist, like or a writer. Let's say a writer. I think that's where I don't know. I think, for
Yeah.
example, she wants to be a writer, but like, she's afraid to put herself out there because, and she uses the excuse of having a family, and she might actually be like have so like I'm not a mom, probably never will be, but like I know that like every single mom, she probably have very few minutes to her own. Like she's always doing stuff, whether for like career wise or like the family. So, what would you say to someone like that who is doesn't have that much time for herself, and also, so that's an aspect, and the other aspect is she is afraid to be vulnerable because of many things. You can like societies like lines or like rules, you know.
Hmm.
So like, do you get where I'm hinting at?
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone like that?
I know these moms. They're in my life, and they're in the middle of their struggles, and they have these dreams, and um, they don't have the support system right now to allow them to push through. But I would say um, that it's important that you put that time into what you love, regardless. Even if you do it privately just for yourself, even if you just write out the things that you want to say, um, and no one reads them but you. I think it's so important to just write down what you're feeling, write down your dreams. I think people are scared of even writing down what their wildest dreams are, because if they write it down, either then they're held accountable, or I don't know what it is. I don't know what the stigma is, but I
I
think it's
think an aspect of it because I was in this position. Well, not as a mom, but like as a person. Uh, I was in this position where I was afraid. I had the wildest dreams. Like, yeah, like I genuinely believe that my vision gonna
Mhm.
impact every human soul on this planet. Like that's my vision. That like when I die, I don't care about my name, but when I die, I want to be left like I look at Mother like Teresa and Gandhi and all these people, and I think you all were great, but watch me from level.
I love that you said that. Can I just tell you that? Because people will judge and be like, "Oh, you're just a clout chaser, or you're just, you think so highly of
I get
yourself."
that a lot. I
And
get
you know
that.
what? And the thing is, like, and I felt judged when I was talking to Gary, and people don't know your heart. They don't know your soul. They don't know what you've
You know,
bled.
interestingly, if you open the comments, so what I did is, which is how we connected, I went to every, like, as much as I humanly can, went to every single comment, and I'm still going. Yesterday, I was replying to some comments on the Gary V on the post itself, the one that he posted on his own page, and I was replying to them all, and several of them were like, "Nah, this dude is not gonna make it because his attitude." And well, I swear to God, the moment I read that, I was like, "I'm gonna make it because of my attitude."
Yeah.
Not
Well,
because
you
like I
saw my
need to fix
comment.
that to make because I feel that without the passion, without the eagerness, I would be right now not talking to you, but opening this PC and building my FIFA Ultimate Team or whatever it is, right? So and I have many people, and there was like this guy. He was probably in his 50s or whatever, I don't know, and he was writing these damn millennials. They want everything so fast, and he said something about cloud. I was like, I have so much empathy for you, you know.
It's sad. It's just sad.
I wouldn't say it's sad. I just believe that it is what it is. Like I'm not gonna. I don't have. It's not empathy that I have pity for him. It's just that he walked. You never know. Like for example, he might have like been somehow involved in a war, right?
Yeah.
So like he's mentally not okay, right?
These are
So
the people we're fighting for, right? These are the people we want to change, that what we want to inspire. And so
yeah,
it's
it's true.
frustrating when
But
they're,
sometimes I kind of tell myself that I shouldn't overjudge myself because if someone does not want to change, he's not
yeah,
going to change. Like, I have a client that I'm working, and that's on the self development kind of level, marketing, everything. I have people I'm working with, and they're not putting, like, I'm helping them out and all that stuff, but they're not putting in their side of the work to be better, like producers and content creators and all that. And I'm like, I'm doing my side. If I'm doing something wrong, I will hold myself accountable for it, and I'll just try and be better at it. But
yeah,
I cannot judge his attitude. I cannot judge that, right? So I think that was a really important point that I just wanted to touch on. That kind of empathy and it's just
yeah,
always on my head, always on my head. You know.
yeah. And I think you just have to be, you have to realize that, going back to your questions, how can mothers really just kind of push through that barrier? I think they have to figure out, do they really want it? I mean, do they really want to be that writer? Do they really want to? Because I feel like the more you put yourself out there, the more comfortable you become. And you're inevitably, if you're going in the right direction, you're going to start feeling better about it. You're going to start having this little internal dialogue with yourself, feeling like, hey, you know what, maybe this is good. And I think the more people do that, the more it will push them to get through, and the more that outside noise kind of blocks out. You're listening to yourself and you're realizing that this is something that, that you want to do, and you're just going to do it. I mean,
So, yeah.
it,
So I was thinking that because I really want this one to resonate because I don't personally know many, but I'm pretty sure there are millions who are in this position, which is why I asked. Like, I'm not gonna benefit from this question, but like personally, but I know that many people will, like anyone who's listening or watching this. So if you can put it to them in like straight up like bullet points, what would you say?
I would say that whatever you are passionate about, you have to work on it every single day. Like and I'm not saying work yourself to death. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying set aside time every single day to work on what you love, because it will feed you. It will feed you emotionally. It will feed you physically, because you're going to be putting energy into it. There's just something special about doing what you love. It just, I can't describe it because I don't know enough about the physical laws or the unseen laws that are at work, but I do believe in them 158%. um, there are laws at work that we may not understand, but once we start putting ourselves into that and we start putting it into motion, um, it's going to help you so much. So again, every single day, I'm only drawing from my experience what I did every single day. Every single day I felt myself getting better, stronger, more comfortable, more um, push
Do you
yourself.
think this feeling, do you think this, I always think about it like that. Do you think this feeling could be related or like it has a direct relation to like feeling free?
Yeah, and it is. And one thing I want to mention that I think is really important, I think when you put constraints on yourself, it's almost like a challenge. What can you do with what you have? Don't think, oh, I don't like I made that video. I don't have a computer. I can't do these amazing things that other people can, but I do have a phone. So I'm going to find every single app and every single way to make this video be as amazing as anyone. I'm just going to do it because that's just how it is. And I did
You
that
know,
with TikTok.
adding to this point, a real example, and I swear to God, I talked about I literally had the first video I ever did. I had my phone like that. It was sitting, I was like holding, I didn't even have a tripod. It was sitting on a green apple. I'm not joking, a green apple. You
Wow.
know, a green
Yeah.
apple like that, and something was like holding it, like the green apple itself, and the phone was like that. It was like this tilted, and I was standing right there. So the focus was not on my face as much of as it was like this. So and the lighting, it was terrible. Like this webcam camera,
Yeah.
it's definitely like the best camera, like best quality. But I guarantee you that it's was a lot better than my first video kind of quality. Speaking, the lights were terrible. Like I always encourage people to go look at the first post I posted when like I would like skip like 8 posts because these were like before I ever became a content creator. Skip these 8 and just go the first one where you're gonna have and I did not have a thumbnail, nothing,
Yeah.
zero, like zero, and it was absolute trash. But I also and I genuinely believe that this video is the reason why I'm talking here. Because if I never started, if I never messed up, I wouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
You know,
It,
I really believe in that one. I
absolutely.
believe that these insecure I had, it's interesting. I had the idea of being a content creator since 2018 August, right? I started in February of 2019. So that's like 6 months or like
Mm,
maybe 7, I don't know. So all of these I was coming up with excuses. It was like, no, first I need to learn how to edit. And I did not learn how to edit in the 7 month, the entire 7. I don't care. I was traveling. I always had an excuse. I had exams. I was traveling. Oh, the gym was
yeah.
a little bit exhausted today. I always had an excuse. So I just like what I'm saying. Why I'm saying all of this is that you're lying to yourself, and you know that. If you're not making, you're just coming up with excuses, and you know that, and you know it deep down. And I'm not into sugarcoating it, so I'm just gonna give it like you are sugarcoating your own insecurity. You know that these excuses are not because you actually want to learn the editing or whatever. Doing that, you're saying that because you want to put your insecurity behind this bar of whatever excuse that you might think is valid. You know, like how can I publish without editing? It's never like that. And the third thing is, oh, it's so good being out there, being judged, whether good or bad. Like some people, like I really had someone pull on me, like DM me and said, "You're like a mentor to me," and I'm like 17, so I'm like, I'm nothing near a mentor.
I have
And
a kid
people
that's
come,
17. You're making me feel
what?
old. I have a kid that's 17. I have a
Oh,
son
that's
who's 7,
it.
and I'm still trying to get him into Gary, and they're just
It's gonna happen naturally. Trust me, it's gonna happen naturally. The moment he listens to the part when Gary says, "Don't care about what your parents think," he'll be attracted to
yeah.
Gary.
He's like,
he'll,
okay.
he'll be attracted to Gary.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I just saying it's this freedom that you have. You're being judged, but you're being open. You have nothing to hide. Like you have nothing to hide. I believe that a person really achieves fulfillment. Like one of the pillars to fulfillment and happy long-term happiness is liberty. And liberty not in that and like you can walk naked in the streets, but liberty as in you can be who you are without being ashamed of that.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole thing. Like I just believe in that so much.
And don't make excuses for, again, like I really want to hit on that because again, in the beginning I told you I live in Buffalo, it's cold, it's dark, it's gloomy. There's all these excuses that people are going to come up against. I don't know what they are, but they're coming. You have to learn to be put in a box and break out. And that's my visualization. If for anyone who's visual, I would say imagine that you're in this cage and you don't let that stop you. You work with what's inside the cage. You may only have, you know, 3 items. I think of it like what are those things where, like a treasure map or something, and you're only
Oh yeah.
given, or like Top Chef, where you're only given 4 ingredients and you have to make something amazing with it. That's how I viewed my creativity. I gave myself a mile
I
radius.
really like that analogy. I really like
Yeah.
that analogy because, like, I started photography the moment quarantine started. So, like, I never took a photo out there. All my photos, I played with my room. I played with my hand, do like stuff like that, and dropping. I play with it all, like. So I think I don't even have a camera. I like
You
literally the
don't
old.
need much. That's the thing. Like,
Exactly.
people put in their mind that they need to drive half an hour away to find the most amazing landscape, the
Sunsets,
most
whatever.
amazing picture, and you don't. Listen, I did this on my lunch break for 5 years. I worked from home. I had to find
Listen,
a place
people
within
need to
one
listen to
mile.
that one.
I had to find a place within 1 mile of my house, okay, that would work, or even my backyard, that I could, get the outfit ready, get the do all of these gram things, and then try to make something amazing out of it. And you know what? It always worked because when your mind is so focused on creating something, it always works. It always works. It doesn't matter. You can
I
be in the
think that's the pillar. Sorry for
yeah,
interrupting. I
that's
think that's the pillar. The only
absolutely,
thing you need to achieve something when it comes to the whole creativity and challenges kind of thing,
yeah,
set your mind to it.
that's it.
That's the only actual need. When you're going into signing up for something, they say the requirements. If you're signing up to be a creative person, there's only one requirement, which is to set your mind to it.
Yeah.
I think that's like we're gonna end now, but I think that's the most fruitful like podcast I'm gonna make. Like that aside, I did.
Say that. You're on
It's
your way to
amazing.
make a lot more great ones.
Nah, I don't think any of them will be like powerful enough to
Well,
like
you and I are gonna
show the
connect.
real time.
We're gonna connect
Yeah,
again.
absolutely,
We're gonna follow up, and we're gonna keep in touch. And you know,
absolutely.
anything you need from me, I mean, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm happy to help anyone.
Thank you.
I'm happy to help you, like whatever it is that you need. I mean, I'm here, and I think this is great. And you're, like I said on your comment, or my comment on getting on,
Yeah,
you're gonna win. You're
I
gonna
hope
win.
so. I hope
You're
so.
absolutely gonna win. I stand by that 100%. And you're on your way. You're on your way. Like, and I don't know. I don't know. There's so much I want to say, but um, yeah, just go for it. Just go for it. And whenever
I
you
will.
feel that tug of, oh, this isn't gonna work, just go for it. You know.
Well,
And
thank you, Ginger, so much for being gracious enough to like come on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And if you don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the banner is down there. It's at OMARSALEMO3, O3 as in 03. And Ginger at GBELOVEG, beloved. Thank you so much for listening or watching. And see you in the next episode.
thank you.